The CVTs that you guys will be driving out here, we got 4 CVTs, and really what we're looking at is, like anyone else, what's easy to operate, what's it going to do for me? When we talk about power in a tractor like this, that tractor there is 195 PTO horsepower. That's the largest one we have in the CVT offering today. Really, it's putting the power to the ground. And what better way to do that than with a CVT? So I have infinitely variable speeds in the sense that I can go as slow as 98 feet per hour, or as fast as 30 mile an hour. And all I'm doing is moving this forward and backwards. I don't have to do anything else. So I can automatically pick the engine, the range, and everything else as an operator. All I'm worried about is speed and how fast I can go. If I'm in deep tillage, I push it forward and let the tractor work as hard as it can work to do what it needs to do. If I want a planting operation or a grain cart, I pull it back to whatever speed I want to be set at. It's going to pick the range. When I talk about power, we have a 4-range transmission in this tractor with the CVT. And where that really becomes important is at the lower speeds. I now have more mechanical efficiency at the lower ranges so that I am more productive in the field. I'm not relying so much on that hydraulic input. Because as we know, mechanical power, gear-to-gear mesh, is the one that's the most efficient operation out there. But when we roll into the CVTs by adding in more ranges, I'm running into the sweet spot where the mechanical portion of that range much more often of the time. That's where the industry-leading Magnum is, and Puma, with the 4-range technology, really seems to benefit. Especially as we move up into the horsepower ranges, and we're not doing as much as that light duty. We're going to do a lot more tillage, heavy-duty field work, as opposed to light-duty operations. But really where it comes into the ease of operation on this one is with our multi-function handle. So you guys were all in the Steiger before. Probably looks very, very similar. It should. It's about the same. What really sets this apart from a CVT armrest as opposed to a power shift is these 2 little buttons here, or 2 levers here, and this little dial right here. Those are what differentiate a CVT armrest from a power shift armrest. So you can see how it's very, very easy to get from one to the other and do what we need to do. What sets us apart from the competition, how our CVT operates. And when I talk to a customer, they start to lean back away from a CVT because they're afraid of what I don't know. And the CVT is really one thing you want to promote as being the most efficient and easy out there. And these are what help us. So we all like our screens, we all like our touch screens, and we do a great job of balancing what's required to be run in the screen versus what I need to run and operate all day long. So by our split throttle design, it makes it very, very easy for me to go out and tell my driver, my operator, to go out and run the tractor. All I really need to do is 90% of the time do exactly that. I can leave my throttles as split. This one here says what's my low end engine RPM. This one here is what's my high end engine RPM or engine power. So by doing this here, I can go out and do tillage, I can go plant, I can run grain carts, I can run a baler, I can do anything I want with that, and all I have to do to tell my operator is push the throttle, push the lever forward. Now in this application here, I could be up to 30 mile an hour, or whatever is the limiting factor of that tractor. Is it speed, or is it the actual physical horsepower of the machine? If I'm out doing a ripping application, it's obviously only going to be able to pull as fast as it can pull, and the computer and everything is automatically going to do that for me. Let's say I'm in a planting application. Basically I want to be able to have enough hydraulic flow to run my planter, so I don't want it to drop too low. Now I just move that throttle forward and say, you know what, no matter what, my engine RPM will never drop below 1400 RPM. Now it's easy for me to go out and do whatever I need to do there. All I'm doing is saying, okay, 5.5 mile an hour, that's where I'm going to plant my speed at. It's done. I don't need to touch anything on there. Now I can go back and do whatever I want to focus on other things. Bigger planters, bigger implements requires a little more view of what's behind you and what it's doing, and that judgment of what's going on. So again, taking that operator requirements away from them, allowing them to do other things. When I talk about that 0 to 30 mile an hour, we have different set points. So on our multi-function handle, just like you saw in everything else, you have your up-down shifting, your shuttle shift forward reverse, and your hydraulic remotes, and then you have end of row, which could be just as simple as out of guidance and gauge, or up to 32 different functions at one time. Just kind of depends on what you want to program in there. On a CVT, rather than having gears, we don't have gears, we just have set points. We we have 3 different set points here, and all it is adjusting the resolution of this multifunction unit. So my top set point is going to be road speed. So now this goes from 0 to 30 mile an hour. I set a different set point, maybe it's 10 mile an hour. Now 0 to 10 mile an hour. So it gives me the ability to fluctuate in amongst that set point and have that infinitely variable speed in there. When I talk about having a driver versus an operator, now when I'm in let's use a grain cart application for example, heavy implements, varying loads, I want to be able to put someone in the grain cart that can actually run the tractor. They're filling a semi, for example, or anything like that. I don't have to worry about how good he is. We had the benefit of seeing some drivers with a little rough on clutches, shifting, things like that. It doesn't matter with this application. I pull the lever all the way back, that tractor's going to come to a stop, and it's going to hold there. We have an active stop. So it automatically brakes and holds the tractor wherever you need to go. And as I move this forward, it controls the speed no matter what I do. So I don't touch the clutch. I bring it to a stop, I creep forward and I'm filling a trucking application. I don't need to worry about stalling my PTO and filling the augers when we get to these 1,000 bushel a minute unload rates on these grain carts. Things like that. I'm pulling up in the field, unloading, I go with the combine. Again, all I'm doing is moving this up and down. And when I say 5.5 mile an hour, the tractor is going to go 5.5. I don't have to switch gears, move throttle speeds, things like that. It automatically does all that for you. That's where you really get the benefit to our customers on being easy to operate. And it's all controlled right here. So that's really the benefit of the CVT in the sense of the power, performance, and the easy to operate. And the easy operation is really what sets us apart from everyone and being able to operate that, but also that 4-range transmission in there to run the CVT in the most mechanical or the most efficient portion of that transmission most of the time. The last group asked one question, okay, if I run this 90% of the time like this, what's the other 10%? The other 10% is the baler right behind it. So I want to maintain my PTO speed. Let's say it's 1800 RPM. I set this throttle at 1800 RPM. Now, my limiting factor, the most important thing in my operation is my PTO speed. I don't want that to change. So I set this at 1800 RPM. And I set what my lower limit is. So maybe I don't want it to drop below 1700 RPM. I put that just like that, 100 RPM difference. Now, what becomes my governing factor is the engine RPM. It will never drop below 1700 RPM. It will slow the tractor down to match the horsepower for the baler without compromising the PTO speed. And it's just that easy on the fly as you go. It's very easy to explain. Some of the other designs that are out there requires you to go in and adjust settings, either in the A-post, in the screen, or other things on the tractor that don't necessarily aren't as easy for a person to communicate to a new operator, a new driver, or if someone actually isn't speaking English, which is a lot of our cases in California and other applications around North America. So any questions on kind of the CVT, what we got here from an operation standpoint, or what their key advantages are? Like I said, this is available.